Welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. You know that feeling when you wake up and within minutes you're already in a bad mood? It's like, just, With any day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to think the last record and our time is our own. Is this any relevant at all? I don't remember. With the lurches in the class and a tired stagger, I suppose students aren't the only people who enjoy their late Friday nights. No, actually, it's, well, it's Saturday now, so I slept through a lot of the day, honestly. Without saying a word, he scrolls some page in question, numbers on the board, and slumps down at his desk. It's completely atypical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Would the later student shuffle the textbooks into position and get to work, not of wanting to break the trend by a little swarm. Fatigue has made the class antisocial, not a peep is heard among the ruffling paper. That can partly be attributed to the two empty seats beside me. For some reason, Mishin any aren't present, probably doing student characters for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she is making up for Shizune's lack of a voice. Nagai, can I speak to you for a moment?
Oh, I suppose we can skip this then. Skippy skip 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 skip. Yeah, I'm even worse when it comes to freaking speaking when I haven't really all that long woke up.
Blah blah blah. Oh. Apart from me, Hanako is the only one left, obviously waiting for Lilly. It's weird that Lilly comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least normally harder for her than it is for Hanako. But it's none of my business, and I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else, either. So an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of the novel she's reading. My pencil age rather splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sounds of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako. Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump up from her desk and run to Lilly. They talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lilly leaves down the hall and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye, out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her though, her slender frame reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, this isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. But why would Lilly leave her to her own devices? Seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. Ah, that's right, I think Lilly mentioned something about going into town today before Rin bumped into us. The fun of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around and enjoying the afternoon make me yearn to get out of school, or at least do something other than sit here. I decide that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday, or a Monday, or on any other day than this one. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Genji. He doesn't strike me as the enjoying the nice weather outside of Velo's kind of person, really. I guess I'll catch up with him later. Changing tacks, I briefly entertain the idea of talking with Hanako, but by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. There's got to be something to do that can kill the time. Now this is apparently what leads to either Lily's or Hanako's route. So if you go for a walk into town, I suppose you'll run into Lily, but I've never chose that one. And of course, if you go to the library, it's Hanako. The library seems as good a place as any to go. Hanako looked as if she was taken pretty off guard by Lily leaving, so she might want someone to talk to. I don't know about that. Slinging my bag over my shoulder, I make my way out of the classroom. I walk down the hallway to the library, past a multitude of closed doors. Through each one, the sound of furious rehearsal can be heard. Rock music blares out of one door almost as loud as a concert. What? I guess that's one of the advantages of a private school. There are actually enough rooms to go around at a time like this. And when I think about it, the grounds and buildings of the school are kept in pretty good condition. That can't be too cheap. I've heard that this place has some pretty serious benefactors. The walls of the library only partially insulate the noise of the festival preparations, but the only sounds to be heard. Not a soul stirs here, with everyone apparently enjoying the weather outside or working on festival events. Yuko isn't here either. Maybe she doesn't work on Saturdays. I quietly walked through the library now. I'm fairly familiar with its layout, so I head to the back where Hanako's private little quarters. I run my hand along the spines of the books on the way through, feeling the individual textures of each as I glance across the titles. I used to do this all the time at the library at the hospital. Some things never change, I guess. I like the smell of the library. No matter how much care you take, the paper in books is always going to degrade with time. Probably no matter which library you go into, anywhere in the world, it must have that same musty smell. I find something that looks light enough to read without any major thought involved, then look for Hanako in the reading area. Once again, she is sitting on a beanbag with her back to her bookshelf, reading the same book she'd had in the classroom. She's slowly making her way through the pages. Unlike last time I saw her here, I quietly take a seat in a beanbag. It always is enough to catch her attention, but not startle her. This delicate routine that must be followed each and every time I try to talk to her almost feels like a hunting game. Is that the same book as before? Yes, I'm almost finished. Cool. I wonder if I should. Do you mind if I borrow it when you're finished? My mouth is faster than my mind, it seems. Sure, you may not like it, but... I'm sure it can't be that bad. After all, you're stuck with it. Haven't you? I guess. I settled into my beanbag and set about reading my own book that had been buried in my bag. It's a light novel about pirates. To be honest, I'm barely skimming over the words. Haven't chosen the book merely because it belongs to a different genre than I usually read. Finding it hard to muster enough enthusiasm to finish the book, and noting that I've inadvertently distracted Hanako quite a bit, I decided to try and make conversation. So, I see Lily left without you. She nods before taking her eyes off her book. She must have been really into it after all. Lily said she had to go and meet someone. Oh? Akira, her sister. Ah, yeah, she has a sister. We'll actually see her in Hanako's route, but I imagine she plays more of an important role in Lily's route. She plays somewhat of an important-ish role in this route, I think. Sister? I haven't heard her talk about her family. Well, to be fair, he hasn't really talked all that much to Lily, really, to actually get to a point of talking about family. Heck, he's like... That's kind of like a common occurrence, really, isn't it? So, like with Emmy, he just randomly stumbled on family thing with that, because her mother happened to be at the track meet. And with Rin, he learned nothing about her family, absolutely nothing. Despite all the amount of time they spent together, didn't hear a damn thing about her family, and I don't think Hisao ever talked about his family either, so really, is that a surprise? She and Akira used to live together. I thought all the students lived in the dorms. I mean, we don't have to. But it's easier, right? I mean, there's food here and you're close to school. I don't think I've ever been to class on time so often in my life. A badly hidden smile proves quite rewarding. In the back of my mind, I know I have a bit of homework to catch up on, but it's quite comfortable in here. No one can find me and force me into working for their pet project either. Though now that I'm thinking about the festival, another question comes up. Hey, Hanako, what are you doing for the festival? For a split second, I think that Hanako is about to throw her book in the air from shock.
Sorry?
I was just asking what you're doing for the festival tomorrow. Anything planned?
I don't know.
Hanako answers in a way that people do when they don't want you to ask any more questions. I take it large crowds and loud music aren't really her thing. No shit. It's like, loud music? Well, actually, it depends. What music is it, really? It's just like some music you just be like, give me... Well, really, honestly, having loud blasting music, I remember the few times I've been to a live concert in my life, I remember freaking Def Leppard on stage. They were playing acoustic, but they had that very loud sound to it. And the second they switched to electric, boom! Felt like I was gonna be freaking blown off my feet. Like, bloody hell, man! How aren't they going deaf? Jesus Christ! Oh, okay. Change the subject. Change the subject. So, what's Lily's sister like?
She's nice. She's pretty like Lily, but she dresses businesslike.
Businesslike?
She's always wearing a suit.
Ah, I see, and that makes her less pretty somehow. Hanako gives an embarrassed shake of her head.
No, just different.
I'll admit it, this has got me intrigued to hear Hanako talk about someone other than Lily is the first, and to be complimentary about it too. As I try to picture this mystery sister, all I can think of is Lily in a suit. I can't imagine that not being attractive, not at all. Well, one day you'll have to introduce me to her.
Okay.
Our brief conversation ends as abruptly as it started, and we both return to our novels. The passage of time is marked only by the gradual movement of the patch of light cast through the window. Slowly noises from the various rehearsals in the building fade out, and I as soon start to get hungry and tired. Just thinking about that makes my stomach start to turn around itself. I think it's time to head back. Do you think Lily would be back by now? I think I might head back to my dorm. I'm very tired from this week. I don't know a word if that is a lie. Moving to a new school as it ramps up for a major event has been taxing, to say the least. I can feel myself nodding off as I read my book.
Okay, I might stay here a little longer.
Looking at Hanako's book, you can see that she is only a few pages away from completing it. For a moment, I consider hanging around until she finishes, but once again my stomach turns, emitting a gurgling sound. Sure thing. Well, I'm gonna head off before it gets dark. See you around, okay?
Okay, see you, Hisao.
Later.
Hisao?
Hmm?
Thank you for hanging out with me.
I can see how hard it was for her to get that simple sentence out of her mouth. It leaves me hanging for a moment. So, there is someone in the school who's even lonelier than me. Maybe lonely is a wrong word. I haven't been lacking company for this first week, but I've still managed to feel somewhat alone and detached. Maybe lonely is a wrong word for Hanako too. She has Lily after all, doesn't she? I realize I've been standing there far too long without answering and pull off a flawless, not too exaggerated smile. You're welcome. Good night, Hanako.
Night.
I leave her to finish her book and head back to the dorms and the promise of food. Then he finds there is no food and is very disappointed. The next day I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday though, but the festival as well. From my window I can always see some people at the silver booth slinging noodles onto plates for people with a craving for low quality food. It's probably how to spend the day. There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. No, I'll just sit properly. Lying down just makes me feel even lazier with freaking reading this. No urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend the day at the festivals I like. Finishing my morning routine, I exited the hallway intending to go out and find something to eat.
Might as well skip this portion until he actually gets outside, because like Kenny like, damn it, man, what the hell? You should have told me this earlier. Blah 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 blah. This is gonna be a real shit day because people are gonna socialize out my window, right? Are you out of your mind, you crazy bastard?
Later, dude, and all that. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from a stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school gardens and watch people pass as I attentively evaluate road land tasty garden. Yes, I shouldn't complain, it's about nothing and doesn't cost much. As I look out towards the school, watching the people coming and going through the surprisingly entertaining way of passing town lanes. Little children accompanied by parents or grandparents scamper about in their din from event to event. One hand dragging their company and the other bearing an oversized cosy. I can't help but notice the age range among the people here is skewed towards the elderly, something that I had not noticed when I was walking around town. This must be one of those towns where the only people left are those that lived here their whole lives and evidently refused to leave, and those ones that live out the rest of the days in one of the increasingly food tranquil places. I guess that also goes way to explaining how conservative Yamaku's school culture seems to be. But I mind one bit, I kind of like how calm Yamako and its surroundings are. The heat, though, is another matter entirely. Sitting in one place for so long has focused my mind on how annoyingly humid it's getting. That's the hottest part of the day is here. I'd better get moving if The sound of the garland bells takes me completely by surprise as I stand up, a reaction shared by a few of the people strolling around as well. The PA system crackles to life after the tolling bells end. Its age shows as the principal makes a barely intelligible announcement over it, officially opening the festival that's very much in full swing. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the older folk against the alternatively pained and bored grimaces of their younger charges. The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it little heed. You know, it just mentions the principal, but we never see the principal, ever. Unless maybe Lilly's or Shizune's route somehow have him appear. Or maybe it's a female principal. I mean, that's how little we know about the principal. Nevertheless, as the address finally ends, all are united in politeness. If not overly enthusiastic applause, and then get back to business. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as possible, I casually glanced around for something to do. It's somewhat difficult to see very far with all the people around. I decided to fall back on a tried and trusted rule, go where everyone else seems to be gathering. Right now, that's the school courtyard and surroundings. Throwing the used plate into a trash can, I make my way towards the school building. Seeing the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprised me. Quite a few of the classes must have opted to have multiple stalls. Deciding which to visit first, I catch sight of a familiar banner with a blue patterned border and red dots. Lily's stall is as good a place to start as any. I'm curious as to how it's going, for all of the work she and her class have been doing for it. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the class took so long to organize everything. Easily twice as wide as many of the other stalls, and with equipment for cooking strewn everywhere, it's close to an outdoor restaurant at a festival ends. You know, I thought it was just like the same as all the other ones, but this one actually looks different-ish. Hey! Is that Coca-Cola there? It kind of looks like it, but at the same time, it's probably not. I don't know. Well, it must not be, obviously, because otherwise it's like, hey, that's a brand name, man! But then, like, with brand names, it could be like, you just change, like, it slightly, and then suddenly it's like, okay. There's a student in front of me, he takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, and I walk up to the counter. The girl behind seems quite liberated and asks me to wait a moment before she disappears underneath the counter. Seize the moment, I take a quick glance around. Steam seems to be rising from everywhere. There's pots and pans somewhere away. The most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients while being helped by someone who is probably the teacher of 42. It doesn't take long to notice Lilly among them. Talking with the teacher, she quickly counts out the boxes and packets with her fingers. From her expression and the fact that both she and the teacher seem to be in a state of mild confusion, it appears that there's been some problem in coordination. Before I can stare any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask where the spare change box is. Lilly paused for a moment before she and the girl switch places at the counter, and the teacher quickly walks off somewhere. Sorry about that. We're having a few problems. What would you like? It takes me a second to remember what I'd come here for. My eyes quickly dart to the side to read the menu sitting on the counter. Oh, I guess some miso soup. Is that Hisao? Yep, looks like you're pretty busy. Her face all but confirms it as she drops her waitress beside. Somewhere along the line our order got mixed up. We're trying to fix it now, but it looks like we only have half of what we needed. When serving smaller portions cover all the problem? It seems like that's what we'll have to do, though I wish we didn't. The fact that a good half of our class is gone doesn't help either. I glance behind her to see how many people are actually operating the store. It couldn't be over about 8. I take it that's why your teacher comes. That's right, she's going to try and round up a few more of our classmates to help. I can't imagine being able to get Kenji to help, though. Can you imagine if they actually did? Because he's obviously one of the missing ones there. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind me, I stealthily glance backwards to see an elderly couple taking a place in the line. I guess I'd better stop loitering around and chatting. Here's the money for the soup. Soup? Oh, right. Coming right up. Right, Lilly turns and calls for a bowl of miso soup as I hand over the money place. Taking the coins in her palm, I can't help but notice how efficiently she counts them out with her long, pale fingers. Eventually satisfied that I have handed over the correct change, she puts it into a small metal tray. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after which she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Thanks, I'll come back to drop off the bowl. Thank you, Hisao. Oh, there is one other thing. Have you seen Hanako? Hanako? No, not today. Why? She gives a small sigh of abject disappointment. It's okay, I was just wondering what she was doing for the festival. You'll come back when you're done, then? Sure, I'll keep an eye out for Hanako, too. Thank you, Hisao. I'll walk off from the stall and find a seat, carefully cradling the steaming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before, this is quite nice. A little cool compared to what it probably should be, perhaps, but the flavor is enough to cover for that reasonably well. As I drink, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being as involved in the festival as the others. It can't really be helped, considering I was dropped from the school only a week ago, but it still weighs heavily on my mind. That and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as visitors. Eventually I finish my bowl and leave for the stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking up. It seems the teacher's mission paid off. There are now over a dozen students helping, and much of the unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming quite relaxed as they work, Lilly still appears to be somewhat stiff. Lilly doesn't look impressed at all, and I can't really blame her. On top of her issues with her stool, she still seems to be worried about Hanako. I can't really help her with the former, so I guess the only way I can help her is trying to take her mind off of our shy mutual friend. Placing the bowl back on the counter, I call out to Lilly. Hey, Lilly, don't worry about Hanako. I'll go find her and hang out with her, okay? I can see Lily's relief plainly written across her face. Thanks, Hisao, and if you see anyone from my class, can you tell them to come back here, please? Will do. Have a good one, and make sure you take a break, okay? I will if I can. See you later, Hisao. I leave Lilly in the stall and head out in search of Hanako. In a way, I feel bad for leaving her with the crowds, but even though she was clearly under pressure, I can't help but think that she's enjoying herself. The halls are packed with swaying crowds, meandering throughout the festival. If there's one thing I know about Hanako, it's that she's not going to be anywhere near this. And with the students showing their friends and families their dorms, I doubt she'll be there either. Following blind intuition, I move against the grain of the crowd. Eventually, this crowd seems to be slightly less festive than your usual festive crowd. I assume this is out of consideration for the student body. As I force my way through the masses, it doesn't take long for them to thin down into nothingness. This is not surprising since I am standing before the library. Even the most eager of students don't bother to show anyone this section of the school. As I enter the library, the noise of the festival fades into a dull background noise, and soon I am in the reading area at the rear of the room. Behind one of the partition desks, I see the top of a head with straight dark hair catching my eye. Hey, Hanako, I had a feeling I'd find you here. The head jumps a little in shock before slowly peeping over the partition. Hisao! It should sound a bit more surprised than that. Hey, Lily's pretty busy, so she sent me to find you. Oh, do you want to sit down? Actually, I feel a little hungry. Would you like to get something to eat from one of the stands? I bought some food, so... I shouldn't be surprised, but it was worth a try. I expected to go outside today was a long shot. How about we eat in the tea room? I passed by on the way here and no one was around. We can make some food there and it'll be a little more comfortable. What do you say? Sure, let's go. Hanako closes the book and puts it away with deliberate, practiced movements. Good to go? Yeah. We walk side by side from the library to the tea room. As expected, there is barely a soul around. If it weren't for the murmurs through the walls, you wouldn't tell that there was a huge festival going on outside. Hanako carries her bag in both hands and focuses on just the floor ahead of her. Every now and again, she seems to break her pace a little and steps in slightly shorter paces. First time it happened, I gave it no mind, but I soon noticed that she does it on a regular basis. Are you alright? She stops dead in her tracks. What? I don't know, it looked like you were tripping on something. A pink blush rises into her cheeks as her gaze returns to the floor. It's nothing. You know, when you say nothing like that, people are inspired to ask further questions. The second I don't think she's going to answer. Prepared to leave it be, I almost set off walking again when... It's a game. Game? You see the floor here? What a bizarre question. The floor looks just like any other floor, covered in those tiles made up from squares of Lego. Nothing noteworthy. Well, yes, what about it? Sometimes when there's no one around, I only step on the darker ones. Hanako's voice trails off as her explanation continues, until I can barely hear her voice over the wrong silence of the empty hall. Darker ones? Shuffling her feet, Hanako points the toe of her shoe at a tile that is barely a shade darker than the others. Like these ones. Alright, so these ones are no good. I point out a nearby tile. Yes, something like that. Oh, I see. You play this game a lot? Hanako shakes her head. Just when the holes are empty? She nods. Well then, no point in stopping. I'm beginning to get really hungry. She nods again, this time with a little more enthusiasm. You know, that's another thing I kind of like. I've noticed, like, for example, when I'm at the gym on a treadmill, like, there's this kind of line thing in between it, and sometimes I just look down and try to match my pace so that it, like, goes with, like, so that when I place my foot forward, it lands in line with it. And it's just, like, so, like, I don't know. It's one of those things that you just have no idea why you do it, but you do it anyway. Well then, let's go. We set off down the hall, and this time I noticed that Hanako is paying a little less attention to the floor. I wonder just how lolly does someone have to be to come up with a game like that. But before I realize what I'm doing, I find myself trying to aim each step so it lands on the correct tiles. The noise of the festival is slightly louder inside the tea room, but the breeze coming through the open window makes it vivid. After thinking, I walk to the windowsill and inhale deeply. I sometimes forget how clean the air is here compared to back home.
Would you like some tea?
That would be great, thanks. It occurs to me that this is the first time I've been alone with Hanako without her trying to be somewhere else. Standing from the window, I watch as she makes a simple pot of tea and arranges some sandwiches onto a plate. I've seen her do this before a number of times, but this time she seems slightly different. It's like she's calm. Eventually, she places a small tray on the table and pours 2 cups of tea. The first scent of brewed tea mingles with the breeze, and for a second I feel like I'm the only one in the world. I think I know why you like this room now.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, there are quite a few people there, but in here it's like another world. You can pretend that there's no one around for miles.
You're right. It's like the world's forgotten this room. And because of that, you can forget about the outside.
That would be appealing in some cases. As far as I can tell, conventional bullying doesn't exist in the school. But then again, I haven't seen a single person talk to Hanako besides Lilly. To be ignored by the world, a place where you can forget its existence would hold a special appeal. That's a good point. It's like this room gives you some kind of complete freedom.
Yeah. Say, do you play chess?
Chess? I played it a bit, I guess. I take it you've played before.
A little.
A little, she says. If I recall, she's really good at chess. Without saying anything more, Hanako moves to one of the cupboards and digs out a small chess set.
Do you want...
Sure, why not? I cut her off, but she doesn't seem to mind it. We arrange the pieces, and before long we are sending pawns charging to their inevitable fates. I take my time and intently examine each move and its consequences, nostalgia for the game taking second place to the matters at hand. I was just thinking... I was like about to say something about like a potential scene, and then I was like, holy shit, that scene does actually happen, doesn't it? Remembering this route now. So I won't say what it actually is, because we'll get to that eventually in Hanako's route. Then examine each move and its consequences, nostalgia for the game taking second place to the matters at hand. For a time, the game is a lengthy battle of attrition, but I spot an opening and tear a line in her defense. A few moves later, her king is cornered by several of my pieces. Checkmate. You're not bad at this, are you? Wait. Maybe she is, like, I don't know. I can't really remember. I remember her being good at chess, but I guess Hisao got lucky here, I don't know. Or maybe it's simply that she gets a bit better all the time. An honest appraisal, her technique is pretty good, but several times I was able to exploit her lack of prediction. I pick up a piece and examine it. It looks relatively new, yet worn for its age.
I guess not.
Does Lilly play? The absence of Hanako's answer caused me to think about my question.
A bit. This is the first time I've played against someone other than her, or
she cuts herself off abruptly, leaving the answer hanging in the air. Someone she knew before coming to Yamaku, maybe. Well, then I'm on to have played against you.
Can we play again?
She asked as if she were asking me to cut off my own hands. The spirit of competition's gotten into her. Sure, though, don't expect me to go easy on you this time. Not that I wasn't for mine, she seems to appreciate this competitive tone.
Same here.
As we are setting up the pieces, there is a noise at the door.
Good afternoon. Lilly.
Oh, hey there, Lilly. Are you finished?
You both are here. Wonderful. At any rate, our teacher managed to round up some extra help, so I was able to leave. Have you been here since you left?
Pretty much. We've just been playing a bit of chess.
Would you like a cup of tea? Actually, I think it may be a good idea to go outside for a little while.
The instant drop in Hanako's face shows her objection to this plan, even though she says nothing. I feel strangely compelled to voice what is plainly in view on her face, but Lilly can't see. I kind of think that we should just stay here.
Really, it's so crowded here that I was thinking we should leave the school and head for the local tea house. You mean the Shanghai? Of course, with everyone at the festival, it should be practically empty.
Tea house?
Oh, that's right, you probably don't know of it.
Well, we've only seen it multiple times in all our routes, but we haven't seen it currently in this playthrough here, since,
starting another route, which the route hasn't officially begun, but that's beside the point. There's a tea house not far from here, which we go to every so often.
Sounds like a plan. Hanako, what do you think? Hanako jumps a little at being forced into the conversation. At least she seems less distraught than before.
If it's this Shanghai, I think it'll be nice. Well then, it's settled. Let's be on our way.
Hanako and I rise from the table on our preempted chess game. Before I can do anything, Hanako has poured the pieces into a small container and placed the board away. You know, honestly, I don't fully understand the rules of chess, so I'd probably get my ass kicked. I remember this freaking Harry Potter game. Forget what it is. Was it Order of the Phoenix or was it a different one? It was on the PS2. They had like a chess kind of game, and I remember like not being very good at it because I didn't have a clue what the rules. And that's like shows how little I've played chess. You know, that I reference a freaking game that has nothing to do with chess as being like an example of when I'd actually played chess. Because honestly, I have no idea. I mean, the pawns, I know how they move. Just move forward, they can't move back, they can't move to the sides or anything like that. Then you've got like, I forget what's called, is the rook, the ones that can move forward and to the sides but not at any other one. And then there's like the knight moves in an odd kind of way that I've never been able to quite figure out how. It just confuses me because I haven't actually properly played chess before. Looks like we're ready now. Please lead on. Hanako moves to Lilly's side and we venture onto the school's corridors. The pair leads me through a series of unfamiliar doors and we emerge on the side of the building opposite to the festival grounds. It's lit by the heavy stone of the building. The noise from the crowd has faded to a murmur. Strange, I thought that most people would be beginning to leave by now.
They're probably here to view the fireworks.
Fireworks?
It's apparently the school puts on quite a show. A lot of people come from town to watch them.
The decision to leave the school ground seems to make sense now. Hanako would probably have a hard time with the whole town descending onto the school, or ascending as the case may be. For the second time since arriving at Hanako, I find myself walking down this road with Lilly. Only now that I can barely hear the incessant noise of the festival do I realize how loud it was. I can hear my ears ringing slightly in the still evening air as they recover from the day's assault on them. Hanako clings to Lilly, but still manages to guide her along the road. That, and avoiding the occasional gaze from curious pedestrians, appears to completely sap her concentration. She rarely raises her focus from the ground in front of her, nor does she utter a word. Lilly, on the other hand, maintains her prim and proper persona just as she does in school. It's obvious she purposely puts effort into her appearance, rather than hiding it as Hanako does. It's striking how different they are in their way of holding themselves outside of Yumaku's ground. That said, it's obvious in both of their cases that they do visibly change. Inside Yumaku, everyone is special, which negates the specialness of it. But once we venture outside the school gates, we are returned to the status of outsider and generic labels. Especially when we are still in school uniform, like it's like hanging a sign around your neck challenging people to figure out what is wrong with you. I'm surprised that so many of the students keep it on. Then again, with canes and wheelchairs common among the students, I guess it's not really that much of a giveaway. Well, maybe I'm the only one that sees this as a stigma. Maybe you get used to it after a time, like any other school uniform. But yeah, it seems fairly standard from the outside, just an ordinary building with typical signs decorating the entrance. It looks like the type of place you'd walk by without a thought, just an old generic cafe and a sea of buildings. If Hanako hadn't steered Lilly into the entrance, I would have continued on down the road without ever noticing that it existed. Inside the tea house, it takes on a more traditional feel. Everything seems to have been made from the same lump of timber, from the counter and benches to the high-backed booths around the walls. But the most striking feature of the room is the lack of life. I think I can faintly hear something bubbling away in the background, but otherwise the room is silent. Without any direction, we simply wait near the entrance, politely obeying the "please wait to be seated" sign. Is this place closed or something? The sound of a chair falling over echoes throughout the empty room, and a head shoots up from inside a booth.
I wasn't asleep, and welcome to the Shanghai.
Yuko, dressed in a pastel apron and clutching a menu, rushes to greet us. Misaligned glasses and ruffled hair cast suspicion on her previous statement. But whether she was asleep or not isn't the first question that leaps to my mind. You work here now? What happened to the library?
What? Lilly, Hisao. Welcome to Shanghai.
Yuka, still waking up, drifts into a violent bow, dislodging her glasses in the process.
My glasses.
That's the first time her glasses are falling off. You know, I've noticed that. I've said this before about glasses, but wearing glasses, you know how people will just adjust their glasses? I mean, really, I just thought that maybe it's just like, you always see like fictional characters do that for dramatic effect, or people in real life doing it for dramatic effect, but it's not! They legitimately fall down. Like, if you like look down, or you're leaning forward to pick up something, they will go, nah. Or if you're exercising, they'll just go, nah. And you have to constantly readjust them when that happens. As I pick up her spectacles off the floor, Lilly offers an explanation.
Yuko works here part-time as well as at the library. It's one of the reasons we like to come here.
Yuko takes her glasses from my hand, shakily putting them back on.
Yes, that's right. Thanks. Shall I show you to your table? There's no one else here, so you can choose your table and order whatever you like, but there may be a delay as I will have to make it myself. That's alright, Yuko. Just a pot of black tea and a plate of sandwiches will be fine. Right, I'll get on to that.
Yuko hurries off to the back of the cafe, leaving us still standing at the entrance. She pushes the swinging half doors open before realizing that she hasn't seated us.
I'm sorry. Please sit wherever you'd like. I'll be right back.